Hello, and welcome to session 2 of Get On Your Feet, Job Help from Pickerington Library. So last week we did job searching help. This week we're assuming now you know how to find a job. You know how to find available jobs. But how do you make sure that you shine to your prospective employer? By having a great resume, cover letter, and a stellar interview. So today we're going to talk about free materials that are available to help you have those things be perfect. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is Grow with Google. So this is designed for a student teacher use, but I'm going to call it up here. And this is the screen share thing I had issue with last time, so bear with me. This is applied digital skills from Google for Education. And the nice thing about this is that they walk you through step by step as if a teacher using lesson plans on how to get a job. So we're going to start out. Here is Google Job Search. We talked about that last week. There's different webinars on how do you start a resume? How do you edit it? If you're looking for a civilian job, if you're writing a cover letter and you're just changing careers, how do you use your old career to transition into a new one? Using digital tools, how to negotiate a salary. That's a very important tool to have because it's extremely difficult to do that without sounding like you're money focused, but yet you kind of are because that's why you're working. And then if your job requires knowledge of how to use Google and the G Suite of software, there's training on every single one of those. Or maybe you just know that your new job in email is going to be Gmail and you've never used Gmail before. There's a little certification part to teach you how to use Gmail properly. So that is Google Applied Digital Skills. And I really like that program. I got to switch my screen share back over again. This is the hardest part about Zoom, everybody. If you were here, I'd be able to see your faces and we could switch more easily. So let's talk about how it means jobs. We actually talked about this last week. And we talked mostly about how do you make like a job portfolio of jobs that are interesting to you. So we're going to go to howyoumensjobs.com, which reroutes you through Monster. And we did searching jobs, but if you look up here towards the top, there's all different types of information, not just about finding jobs like Jen talked about last week, but here's stuff about resumes and cover letters. You will need to create an account. Unfortunately, Jen last week already had an account. I do not, so I will not be able to show you this. I'm terrible. And I don't want to waste your time setting up an account. But as long as you have an account, which you should have from last week, you'd be able to look at all the resume help that they have for you. The next thing that I'd like to show you is called 1T Online, or ONET Online. And this is absolutely wonderful. So if we look at, let's just start with finding applications or finding occupations. So if we go to Bright Outlook, you can look for jobs where there is rapid growth within that industry. If you're like, I don't know what I want to do, I just need a job. All of these jobs have very bright outlooks. They're ones that there's going to be more jobs than there are right now. You can also look for jobs like, I don't care if it's going to be growing in the future, I need one that has job openings like now for me to take. So let's say your life dream is to become a barista. We're going to go to barista. This tells you what kind of tasks are you going to do on a daily basis? What kind of technology do you need to know? What is your general knowledge base? What kind of skills do you need, abilities? General work activities, again, but kind of worded a different way. They talk to people within the job about what is a daily life, a daily day on the job look like to them. And then we have education, interests, that this might be a job that fits you if you have these different interests. And then you can come down here and it says, you can look by the state. So let's say we're planning on moving. You can move anywhere in Ohio. And we want to see how much can I hope to gain or to earn in this job. We can look at our annual wages or hourly wages, and this is the average for Ohio versus the average for the US. And it actually breaks down by a lot of different municipal or city areas. Another thing you can do with ONET, let me go back to the main page. I like the way that they have this set up. So they have a different service called My Next Move. It's helping you find out what job you want and what you need to do to get into it. And I like that they have, I want to be a, you know exactly what you want to be, you type it in there. I know when I see it, maybe I just need to browse a little bit and see what jobs exist. Or I'm not really sure, and it will walk you through a nice little career search crosswalk type thing where you can try to figure out what kind of jobs you like. Another thing I like about this, they have My Next Move for veterans, which is helping you find a civilian career that your military training will help you with. And they also have Mi Próximo Paso, which is help for Spanish speakers to find jobs. I'm going to show you the veterans one though, because I really like it. If you know what your MOC was, your job in the military, you can actually type that directly in and they'll give you jobs that are similar to that. And I'm going to go back a page. So let's find advanced search. Where is it? Military crosswalks. So here you put in, let's see, I was a Marine and I was a medic. Or, oh, I guess be a Navy medic. This is jobs that you can do in the public sector that are connected to what you did in the military. And that's kind of nice. There's not a lot of training that you would need then because you already have the skill set. So that's ONET and My Next Move. And those are just kind of some job searching services that we didn't talk about last week that I found and wanted to share with you. But it does have information about training, which I think is nice. And we're going to be talking more about that next week. I'm trying to find one specific thing and I can't seem to find it. You know what? I will keep looking. I am going to pass this on to Laura Hanby, who's our reference librarian over at our main library branch. And she is going to tell you a little bit about resumes, cover letters, and that kind of cool stuff.
All right. Can you hear me?
Sure can.
Good. So I am back here today to talk to you again about Lynda.com. If you watched our last session, I did an overview of how to access it. I'm going to do it again for anybody who didn't see the first video. So first, Lynda.com, a little bit about it. It's an excellent database of video tutorials that teach you skills everywhere in between, you know, learning software to job hunting skills to much, much more. And the cool thing about it is you have free access to Lynda.com with your library card. And that's any library card in Ohio can be used to access this. So if you're accessing it with your Pickerington card, you're going to start at our website. All right, so when you go to our website, it's pickeringtonlibrary.org. This is the home screen you're going to come to. And you're going to go over to eBranch right here and just give that a click. And this lists all of our online databases, and all these can be accessed with your Pickerington card. So I'm going to scroll down here. They're all listed alphabetically. So we're going to go down to Lynda. Give that a click. It's going to ask for your library card number and library PIN. I already have it pulled up on another window here, so I will go ahead and bring that up. So once you log in, you're gonna see this page. This is the main screen, and it has like a bunch of popular learning paths. These are videos that I was watching before and may want to continue watching. You can develop playlists. of videos. You can see what's popular, what people are recommending, what's popular at your organization, all cool. But what I want to get to is the library here. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of different topics you can go to. I'm going to go to business, and then I'm going to go over here to learning paths. Linda does a great job of curating like bundles of training on specific topics. So we're going to go see all. And these are all the different learning paths that have to do with business. And scrolling down here, we're going to find one called Become a Successful Job Hunter. So let's open that. And here you have video tutorials about all the different parts of the process of finding a job. The one I really want to go into today is the writing a resume with Stacy Gordon. Okay, can you see that? Okay. So we're going to go back down to the writing a resume. We'll pop in here. Now, just a couple of basics about when you go into a Lynda tutorial. Of course, right here you got your main video screen. Over here, it's going to show you the different segments in the tutorial. Up here, you have a notebook where you can save your notes. You can write notes and attach them to specific timestamps in the video, so you can go back to those parts of the video and review it. And let's go back here. Down here, we have a transcript, which gives you a complete written out of everything that's said in the video. So while you're watching, you can go back and review something that you may have misheard or you got distracted and missed a point that you need to go back to. And the probably the greatest part of this particular tutorial is the exercise files. You've got a bunch of files here that show you example resumes. It illustrates a lot of the points she's talking about. It's an excellent resource. So go in there, and I would encourage you to download those before you start the video tutorial. But let's go back. Now the whole tutorial is 2 hours and 39 minutes. I would highly, highly, highly recommend you watch the whole thing. It is excellent. I watched this to help me prepare to help customers with their resumes. And Stacy Gordon, the presenter here, is really, really detailed. She goes into point by point how your resume should look, what should you include, how to brush up on or how to update your resume. A lot of good information. So we've got like the basic components of a resume, how to customize your resume, how to upgrade it. So if you just need to update your resume, freshen it up a little before starting your job search, layout and formatting, alternative types of resumes for different careers or even different parts of the world. So if you're looking for a job in another country, such as a European country, it's got those types there. The common hurdles in resume writing. So this might give you tips on how to address maybe a gap in your work history, sorry, a change in career, anything like that. But again, I would highly, highly encourage you to watch this whole thing because it is excellent. You know, especially if you're starting from scratch, it's a good place to start. But there's also some other great tutorials that are part of this learning path. And the next one I want to go to is Mastering Common Interview Questions. We talked about interviewing. So you did your resume, you did your job search, you get called for an interview. How do you prepare? What questions should you expect? What responses should you prepare? And that can sometimes be hard. But again, this one is through Valerie Sutton. She's the presenter here, and she gives you her top tips. I'm sorry, guys. And she goes through common questions and talks a little bit about how to formulate your best response so you can best be prepared for when you go into your interview. Going back to Linda, I am going to go back and just click on business here. So there's one more thing I want to show you if this works for me. So if you go under one of these broad categories in the library, it's going to come up with a screen showing the different types of tutorials. And you can see here, they right now we're looking at new releases. You can choose learning paths. There's documentaries on here. Another cool part which I want to show you is the weekly series. And these are tutorials that are updated with new videos every week. So it's a great way to continue your skill development or education once you get a job. Or it helps you keep your skills fresh, basically. So that is Linda. And I'm going to leave that and go back to our PowerPoint here. So we did all this. Now we're going to look at different sites to help you make a visually impressive resume. I'm going to click on this one here. This is basically an article. It's about making did I do that wrong?
You just have to unshare and reshare if you go to a website.
Okay. Here we go. All right. So this is an article. It talks a lot about how to make your resume visually appealing. It goes into fonts, layouts, using icons, using color. I would definitely suggest this article to those going into creative careers. So those are who are going into design, anything like that, because they're going to probably expect a little more out of your resume based on your creative skills. So that's a good reference for you. And let's go back out here. I'm going to go. Let me share the PowerPoint here. Okay, so we've got different sources here you can use to create your resume. There's Indeed.com. I know they have a resume builder if you set up an account with them. Canva.com is a great design website. It's free. We actually use it here at the library for a lot of our printed material and signs and so forth. So I highly recommend that. And of course, there's the basic Word that you can also use. And then here's different resources for creating an eye-catching cover letter. Again, just more tips and tricks. So I am going to pass things back over to Miss Erica. So let me stop sharing.
Okay. So we have two different resources for memorable interviews. So interviewing is one of those things that's just, it's a little bit easier once you do it a few times, but there is some very helpful resources. So Udemy is an absolutely wonderful resource for people who need to keep learning. There are some paid courses on Udemy, but there's also a lot of free. And one of the free courses is job interview skills training. And you just would need to enroll in it. It's an hour and 34 minutes. It's an on-demand video, just like any of the stuff from Linda. And I actually watched this, but I was on a different computer, so I'm not logged in. This is an excellent, very quick, kind of using the same things as the Linda did with Valerie Sutton of like, here's a question, you don't know how to answer it. Here's how you can best shape an answer for that, that highlights your skills, that highlights things that you want your new employer to know. And another great resource is GCF Learn Free or GCF Global. They have, if you need to learn something, just go to GCF Global. It's everything that you could possibly need to know is on there. This is a YouTube playlist, believe it or not, that's just interviewing skills. What type of interview might you have to do? What do you need to do to prepare? What do you do during? How do you follow up? What kind of stuff employers cannot ask you, which is very important to know when you go into it. There's also a little quiz at the end to make sure that you've been paying attention. So those are two amazing resources for pre-interviews to try to get rid of those jitters before you go in. And the last thing I'd like to talk with you about today, this is something that has been a passion of mine for some time because I'm a lifelong learner. I always love to learn new things and try my hand at different stuff I've never tried before. Open educational resources are a fantastic tool for this. I'm not going to go through each and every one of these, but these are all listed at the end as well, so they're all available to you. These are basically free college classes that you can take just for funsies. You don't have to sign up for anything. You don't have to pay for classes. And they're not just like random college classes either. You can take courses through MIT, through Yale, through Harvard. There are entire textbooks available. OpenStax is quality textbooks that can be edited because they're online and they're all entirely free. I also included GCF Learn Free on there as well because it's such a wonderful resource. And Coursera is another one that's excellent. Some of these, like EDX, you can actually take a class and so like when I was getting recertified for my teacher certification, I needed to take 2 college classes. I didn't want to go and enroll in a university and have to worry about that. So I took 2 courses on EDX, and for a fee much, much lower than any college would charge, I was able to get 2 college classes in sociology and algebra to renew my teaching license. And I think it was like $500 for the certificate at the end, which is way cheaper than a college course would have been. And it was tough. They both were really tough courses, although the sociology did use an OpenStax textbook. So I am going to, first, our last session is Thursday, July 30th at 1 p.m. Here's the meeting ID and the password for that. Those are also available on our website at pickeringtonlibrary.org under events. And that's going to be acquiring job skills. So you know how to find a job, you know now how to apply and how to interview for that job. Now, how do you get the training you need to make yourself really shine in your new career? And you are going to meet a new person that you haven't met yet, who's Robin, and she's our tech trainer, and she has a lot of wonderful info that she'll share with you. So this is all the resources that we talked about today. I'm going to let this just kind of sit here for a second. If you want to screenshot it or take a picture, kind of compiled everything into one spot for you so that you'll know where you need to be next week. Oh, and I see we have something in the chat. I'm going to stop the share for a second because I think that's making my chat be all funny. Okay. So thank you for joining us, and I hope to see you on Thursday.